The engines on the Little Western were busier than ever. The miniature railway was almost complete and the engines would be arriving soon. Many changes had to be made. Timetables had to be rescheduled, trains were swapped around, and a large ballast chute was built over the top station. One day, Duck was waiting with a passenger train. He was growing impatient. "Shunted, and on my own branch line too. Whatever for?" But he didn't have to ponder for long. Donald and Douglas came steaming into the station. Duck's mood turned cheerful. There on the flatbeds were the miniature engines. Sniffed one. "It's quaint." "Oh, hush," said another. "Hello there," greeted the third. "I'm Rex, and these are my friends, Mike and Bert." "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Duck, and this is my branch line." "That was your branch line," scoffed Mike. "It wasn't that grand." "Hush," snapped Bert. The big engines laughed. "The wee red one hasn't stopped complaining since we picked him up," said Donald. "Great paints think alike," Douglas quipped. Duck let out a hearty laugh and pulled away with his train. The little engines were soon on the rails and began moving things around to get the railway ready for opening. The railway would mainly be used to collect ballast, but passenger trains would also be scheduled. The people watched as the engines scuttled around getting things ready and pushing trucks into place. Mike was unamused. "These people think we're a toy railway! How insensitive!" "Calm down, Mike," assured Rex. "They're only human after all. Besides, we must look a bit funny compared to the big engines." "Well, we're proper engines, and this is a proper railway. They'd better understand." Duck had arrived with a train of hay bales and stopped under the chute. He heard Mike fussing and thought it funny. Just then, the foreman came up to Mike. "The ballast chute hasn't been weight tested yet," he said. "I need you to go up and see if anything's wrong." Mike harumphed, but did as he was told. He was still grumbling about the passengers. "Toy railway indeed! Toy railway indeed!" he muttered, but he wasn't paying attention to the tracks. "Careful, Mike!" called Bert, but it was too late. Mike charged through the buffers and fell off the chute, right into Duck's hay trucks. All the engines laughed. "It's not funny," Mike protested, but it was no good. "First Percy, now you," jeered Duck. Mike seethed in the hay. The workmen began digging Mike out of the hay. He complained endlessly as they worked him out of the mess. It took a long time, but eventually Mike was back on the rails. The small controller, the controller of the miniature railway, arrived to see the damage. "You shall stay in your shed until the opening day, while we sort you out and fix the damage you caused." Mike tried to protest, but it was no use. He was stuck in the back of the shed for a few weeks. The others had a good laugh about it, but Mike began to feel awful. When the day came of the grand opening, Mike didn't make a fuss of any kind. He was glad to be out of the shed again. He pulled passengers all day long. They still called it a toy railway, but Mike tried to ignore it. Mike can still be irritable, but when you get to know him, you can see that there's more than meets the eye on this little red engine.